This edition of the MG Trophy Championship is brought to you by Stoneacre Motor Group. Welcome along to Oulton Park for rounds 7 and 8 of the MG Trophy Championship 2019. It's been a while since we've seen you, and the cars were away at Knockhill last time out. A double for Graham Ross in the 190s and wins for Sam Kirkpatrick and Matt Turnbull in the 170s. Graham Ross leading the championship from Class B leader Sam Kirkpatrick with Matt Turnbull and Doug Cole in hot pursuit. Racing resumes at Oulton Park, and it is very tricky out there. Rain in qualifying, meaning that the race is going to be a little bit of a lottery. Tricky stuff. Let's go down to the paddock and find out a little bit more before racing gets underway.
So here now with Luke Hancock from Stoneacre, title sponsor of this programme. First of all, thank you very much for your support, and you've been involved with the championship and following this racing for a little bit of time. Yeah, absolutely. We got approached to do this about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and we couldn't wait to get into it. Why not? So based in the Manchester region, you cover quite an area. Just tell us a little bit about Stoneacre.
We have over 50 branches, sort of going from Durham all the way down to the Midlands. Like you say, we're in Greater Manchester, in Hyde. We've been there for about 20 plus years now. So we're quite a family there. We've got mothers and daughters that work in the same branch. And we took MG on about 6 months ago, and we're growing massively with MG.
And the time between you as sponsors and an event like this is good, isn't it? Because you get members of the public who are obviously enthusiastic already about motors, and they can see the range you've got. Oh, absolutely.
Like a lot of the models you see here are from years gone by, and I'm happy to come and bring 3 new models here, and even get people excited about the newer models coming later this year, and potentially in the future from there. So, yeah, it's nice to showcase some of the newer models as well as see some of the history of MG.
And racing, have you ever had a go at it yourself? Ever been tempted?
Tempted, but I struggle to drive on a straight road, never mind around the track.
Great, and the 2019 season has been a very successful one for you so far. Leading the championship by a few points, and we've got pole on this as well, so all good so far.
Yes, this year is going well so far, but I never count my chickens before they hatch, because last year here was a bit of a disaster for me. Ultimately worked out okay, but yeah, qualifying went okay. Weather, who knows? I actually didn't think we would be out in slicks this morning. I fully expected to wake up and the place was soaking wet, but it was nice to be out in the slicks. Been nice if the race is on slicks, but it'll be what it'll be, and I'll just try and keep plugging away for the points for the rest of the season.
Got some heavy rain forecast for a little bit later apparently, so yeah, you're going to be watching those skies. Trophy isn't yours yet though, there's still some close points.
Oh no, I take nothing for granted. You look at the scores, and of course we've got a dropped score, and you look at all the permutations, it actually does your head in, to be honest with you. So no, I take nothing for granted. It could quite easily go down the wire at Snetterton yet. The Class B guys are sitting close as well, so no, I've got to keep plugging away. I can't take anything for granted. I've just got to go out there and do my best.
Sam at Oulton Park, grey skies, but qualified first in your class and third overall, so a great start to the day.
Yeah, it was much better than we expected, because we almost didn't make it out because the car wouldn't start this morning, but all of the team helped us get it ready and got a good result.
Now, since we last saw you, you've done the Knockhill round, and how did that go? There's a little bit of a few problems there.
Yeah, it was all right, but there was a few issues, and I had a little trip in the gravel in the second race, but overall it was all right.
2019 season, still doing well for points, so we're still keeping in the top end there.
Yeah, somehow we're still up there after some interesting results, but yeah, it's going well.
The transition from Knockhill, a very challenging track, and then to come to Oulton Park, lots of twists and turns there. It's a great sort of track, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite different tracks. Prefer Knockhill, but this one's all right.
Paul, this 2019 season, bit of a mixed bag for you. Now, qualifying hasn't gone too bad this morning, but we're seeing you a little bit further down the class than normal. What's going on there?
I am running out of talent. It's pretty much gone. I don't know. Last time I was here, I don't know if you remember, I had the braking issues. We're changing the back because the back's not steering enough, I don't think. So the front's doing too much, and I'm feeling like I'm going to overheat the tyres. And then it's me. I don't want to use too many excuses, but
you blame the car there. But anyway, no. But you're still 6th on the grid though, so it's a good place.
Yeah, I mean, we're just over a second behind, which normally you got a second. It's a lot. It is a lot, but it's quite a long lap really. So when you break it down over the distance, it's not quite as bad. So hopefully we'll get a little bit extra speed with this adjustment to the rear.
So rain forecast. So it's going to be a bit of a mixed bag day, really, weather-wise.
I know. Well, do you know? See, at Knockhill, this was one of the problems we had. It was it going to rain? Is it dry? And it just drove everyone up the wall. And I hope it doesn't happen again here. It was so stressful.
Martin, as I pulled into the paddock this morning, I noticed your car after qualifying had a puncture, but there's a slightly bigger story. What's been happening?
Yeah, it was my fault. Going too fast in qualifying, cold tyres, went off big time sideways into the gravel pit, and the gravel smashed the driver's door glass, and it took the tyre off the rim. So I had to come in.
Not long till race 1. So what's going to happen?
Yeah, we checked, and Bruce has spoken to the race scrutineer, and he's given me a special compensation into race without a driver's door glass, which I'm really pleased about because I was a bit concerned I wouldn't be able to race. But we're back out. Yeah, so it'll be good.
Fabulous news. I can see the glass there. Obviously, you're going to sweep that out and keep your eyes squinting as you're going around, and maybe a bit of rain as well. So it's going to be a fairly busy day.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting.
MG Trophy Championship racing is always interesting. We've got pole position with Graham Ross, Championship leader. Patrick Booth is alongside. There were some interlopers in qualifying, but they start in separate groups. So we've got the 190s at the front, the 170s headed by Sam Kirkpatrick, who actually qualified 3rd overall. Alongside him is Fred Burgess, Josh Bacon on pole for the standard class, the 160s at the back, where there is a green flag and we're ready to race here at Oulton Park. Lights on. Out go the lights and away goes Graham Ross from pole position. Superb start by Ross. Also Doug Cole from row 2 looking around the outside line to go for the lead, but I think Graham Ross is going to hold on. Doug Cole very wide in the wet and slippery conditions here into Old Hall. I was about to say they were all doing well. Paul Luty has a visit to the grass, goes very wide. But other than that, no casualties as they go through Old Hall and into Cascades for the first time. What a superb sight these cars make. In car with Fred Burgess, second meeting with us. Right behind him is Tyler Ballard. Now they head along Lakeside, and then this corner really tightens up as they head up in towards the Shell Oils hairpin. Doesn't look like a hairpin from this angle, but it's a banked corner which could allow several different lines for the cars as Graham Ross leads. Oh, lots of different lines being taken now. We've got Adam Jackson off, several cars involved. Well, sometimes that happens, that there's some caution on turn 1 because of the weather, and then you get it all going west a little bit later on. It's Tom Butler in the 55 car leading the, or is he going straight on? Butler straight on, and inheriting the lead is Sam Kirkpatrick, who gyrates. So we've lost the leading 2 170 class cars. Goodness me, it is all happening, isn't it? Through goes John Booth, followed by Joseph Dalgano. With cars in the gravel, that we've got, as you can see, I was going to say heavily waved yellows, but double yellows anyway, if not heavily waved. That's got to be a safety car. Graham Ross leads. Doug Cole from the second row of the grid. There's the safety car confirmation. 3rd place is Robin Walker. Robin followed by Paul Savage. Tom Butler got back on in the 55 car, having straight-lined the chicane. There is Tyler Ballard in a very good position. Tyler's first season in the 170s. Best result thus far of 6th position in class, which he's achieved twice, Donington Park and also Knockhill. So a fair bit of clearing up to do, and I think we might have time while the safety car's out just to have a look at what ensued from the start and to cause these problems. In car with Fred Burgess, great rear facing shot, 4 wide there off the line, very nearly 5. Adam Jackson in the 79, Tom Butler to the right of shot. Let's have a look as they go around Old Hall. Goes on the grass. Paul Luthi goes on the grass as well. We saw that from earlier on. Was that in avoidance? Possibly. I tell you what, Paul Luthi might be counting his blessings because he wasn't in the melee, therefore. Here's Doug Cole. Superb start from Doug, right the way around the outside, and challenging, not quite challenging for the lead, but challenging for and getting second position as he goes through Old Hall. Josh Bacon from the standard class. The wet obviously evening up the power differential between standard and enhanced class cars, and he's up with Samuel Johnston, who, remember, was second place in class the opening race of the year at Brands Hatch. So it just goes to show how the standards can mix it up with the enhanced power classes in the wet conditions. Now, this will be interesting. Paul Luthi on board with the effervescent Scott. Great view of Doug Cole making a super start. Tom Butler gets ahead of Paul. Now, do we see a bump for Paul? He's fairly wide, not that wide. Well, then he does go wide. I've got a feeling it might have been avoidance from Paul. And as I said, probably counting his blessings after the shenanigans that went on. He still had to negotiate that, though, didn't he, as they went through the hairpin there. So safety car still out. Here's another look back. Patrick Booth this time. Oof! Bang! In goes Adam Jackson in the 79 car, and that's what put an end to Patrick Booth's race. Another in car, Fred Burgess. This time the 5 cars behind have sorted themselves. Oh, another bang in the back, this time from Samuel Johnston. Around he goes, keeps it out of the gravel. Fred's second meeting with us, and in car with John Booth, looks around the outside. He gets a little knock as well, but manages to survive that particular onboard, giving you a decent look at the banking. Now, this is how Paul Luthi managed to negotiate things. Now, bear in mind that Paul was further back than he would have been after qualifying, but negotiates that safely. So Paul, I think, will be counting his blessings. Adam Jackson being towed away in blue. Safety car is still there. Graham Ross leading from Doug Cole. Welcome back to Oulton Park. The recovery continues from our opening lap problems here. Very wet conditions. We understand some oil down as well. Into pit lane safely is Patrick Booth. So Patrick managed to make it around. And before we get to restart, we need to show you something with regard to the start off the front of the grid, because news coming through that Graham Ross has been adjudged to have started out of position. Was he? I don't know. Very difficult to tell from that angle, but he's been handed a 10-second penalty. Now that means that as the cars come up to the restart, Doug Cole on the timing clock, second position on the road, but on the timing clock, is the race leader. So the number 1 car, Graham Ross, there needs to make up 10 seconds on his chasers to lead this race by the end. They're all about to get going. Tom Butler is leading the 170s. Second position, the 170s, is James Cole. Here we go. We're racing again at Oulton Park. Tricky conditions, but it's Graham Ross out front. Doug Cole leading the race on the clock. Then it's Robin Walker ahead of Paul Savage in the 23 car. John Booth is off, and that's possibly going to bring out another safety car. Oh, the despair from John, very, very sadly, out of the race. Marshall's coming there very quickly on the scene as ever. The Marshall's working so hard as ever. There's James Cole chasing Tom Butler for the lead of the 170 class. And Booth gets going again, which is good news. Doug Cole chasing the outright lead, might not know about the penalty, but he's going to put pressure on Graham Ross nonetheless. Up into the shell. Oil's corner, a handful of lock, and Doug Cole spins. He's across the track, moves the car very quickly. Quick thinking by Doug Cole to get the car onto the grass. Where is he going to rejoin? He's staying on the grass. The reason for that is, as per the Blue Book, the MSA manual, Doug knows that he's got to rejoin safely, and he waits for the right moment to rejoin. Hats off to him for doing that. There is Sam Kirkpatrick up ahead of Joseph Delgado. Kirkpatrick, remember, the Class B Championship leader. All going topsy-turvy in this race. Paul Luthi, meanwhile, after what he will see as a very frustrating first corner of the original start, now starting to make progress. Butler and Cole first and second there. The blue and black car followed by the green machine second in class. Third in class at the moment is Tyler Ballard, perhaps on for a first-class podium. And then Matt Turnbull, who was only 1 point behind Sam Kirkpatrick in the championship and could take the championship lead in this race. Luthi having a look on the outside line. Race leaders going through, still very difficult to see. Turnbull on the inside line there of Tyler Ballard. Ballard's off, Turnbull's in the gravel. Oh, Ballard spins as well. Such a shame. Curse of the commentator there for Ballard. Oh dear. So much for me saying he was on his way to his first 170 podium. Such a pity. Doug Cole recovering well as the race continues. Samuel Johnston in the 24 car is just past. Robin Walker still the race leader on the clock. Then as they go on to the last lap, Paul Savage is in second position in the 190 class. Doug Cole still making progress, manages to get past Joseph Dalgarno there in the 93 car. And Doug just unfortunately shy of the podium. I can tell you the progress made by Graham Ross means that he is running strongly in the class, so he's going to get a podium finish, Graham Ross, as Paul Luthi challenges James Cole here. James in green. Luthi's having a look up the inside line. James Cole cuts across. He's got the best part of the lap still to try and grab that second position in class. It's been a fine battle once again. Sam Kirkpatrick running just behind Paul Luthi as well in the light blue car, so Kirkpatrick here will maintain the lead in the championship standings for the 170 class. And Luthi now past James Cole. Kirkpatrick coming through as well and challenging Luthi, not quite close enough as they go through Britain's chicane and head up towards Hilltop once again. So James Cole down into fourth place. Here is the race leader on the clock though, Robin Walker. This could be an historic first win in the outright win in the MG Trophy Championship for Robin. Tom Butler is running in second place and leading Class B. Incredibly, Tom Butler's first win of the year, but incredibly first podium of the year in the offing, and it's going to be a Class B win and an outright podium for Tom Butler if he keeps it on. Right behind him though is the 23 of Paul Savage, who wants to try and get past if he possibly can. Won't give him any more points, Paul Savage. And Savage coming under pressure now from Paul Luthi as Robin Walker takes the checkered flag and his first win. Superb stuff for Robin Walker. Watch for Tom Butler. Paul Luthi still chasing hard, has a little moment on the grass. Through goes Graham Ross. He's going to be classified in third position. The chasers are just coming through Lodge Corner for the last time. Luthi side by side at the moment with Sam Kirkpatrick, who's having a very good look. And across the track goes the 23 car, Paul Savage. Oh, Savage spins on his way up towards the line. Doug Cole nips through into the podium for the 190. Savage gets going again and is going to recover for fourth position in Class A. Here is Josh Bacon, an incident-packed race, but not so for Josh. The 20-year-old from Horsham is going to take another win in the standard power class, up ahead of Martin Webber. He takes the checkered flag there. Webber only about 8 seconds behind, and problematic race for Graham Ross, who did well, but having been adjudged to have jumped the start, gets dropped down to fifth place overall. Walker wins from Butler, Luthi, Kirkpatrick, Graham Ross, James Cole and Doug Cole from Samuel Johnston, Joseph Dalgarno in ninth, Tyler Ballard, he completes the top 10 from Paul Savage, Josh Bacon finishes completed by Martin Webber. Fastest laps, Graham Ross, Tyler Ballard and Joshua Baker. Let's hope that race 2 is drier and we'll catch up with our race winner, Robin Walker.
Robin, what a challenging race that was. Now, because of an alleged 10-second penalty for Graham, that puts you in first position. Either that, still to be confirmed, but either that or we've got you in second, so a great result.
Yeah, absolutely delighted. First time I've been on a podium for about 5 years, so it's just a question of not crashing, basically.
It was a tricky race for everybody, wasn't it? Those conditions didn't half turn.
Yeah, it was also, there was some oil, I think, down on one of the corners as well from a previous race. So we had oil flags and rain and drying out and everything. But not crashing was the, spinning was the point.
Some good lap times as well, considering conditions.
I have no idea. I was going as fast as the car seemed to be able to go without going off. and more importantly, just a little bit faster than the car behind me.
Tom, that was a busy race, especially the first couple of laps.
Yeah, luckily I got quite a good start. Managed to get from 6th to 4th on the first corner, and then it kind of all happened in front of me, luckily, and narrowly managed to avoid it, which gifted me the lead. And then it was one of those races where you just want the safety car to keep going, really. But then we had a few laps at the end which were quite interesting. But it was one of those races, right place, right time for once, and a bit of luck, which was nice.
Well, either way, even without the Graham Ross thing, you would have got a podium. The safety car, 5 minutes roughly of racing left, so it was only a couple of laps or so to put your place in history, as it were.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was a bit of a 2 laps of defending, really, and just trying to back those behind me up into the pack with it. Being the restart, they were being close together. I thought I was struggling to go forward because I had a slightly slower 190 in front of me. But I thought if I can try and back the others up into each other and get them fighting a bit, I can pull away a bit. And thankfully, it worked. It pulled off. So really happy.
So Paul, that turned out pretty well. Graham got penalised there with a 10-second penalty just at the end. There moved you up a place. So a good podium.
So I got third. Yeah. That was a nice wee gift from Graham. Thank you, Graham. It was an interesting race. Bad start, followed by basically, I think it was third from the back after the first corner, down the grass, because just everybody was going mental. But it was great, it was good. And then it was a case of just trying to get back up through the grid and then back up to second in class, so I was happy with that.
Doug, the sun might be shining now, but that was a very tricky race. But I've got to say, I was extremely impressed in what you did in that first couple of laps, going from 9th to 2nd.
Yeah, it's pretty good. We had a mega start, and of course, obviously, with the splitting the grids up to make it a bit better for the 170s and 190s. But I still took a bit of a gamble, went around the outside of 2 on first corner, but then latched onto behind Graham. So yeah, it was quite cool, really. I was just driving nicely, and it was all going to plan. Just thought I was going to sit there for a couple of laps and see how we got on, and we were pulling away from the rest. So there was just me and Graham, and it was a bit of a shame that safety car came out, but very long, truncated safety car, which was a bit disappointing, really. And then we had a bit of a run at this, just as the lights came out, we went for Graham, and I was just chasing him. It was really good, and then ran out of talent going into Shell Oils. Graham braked a little bit early, which he's entitled to do because he was in the lead, and I braked a bit late, and next minute I'm going backwards up the hill thinking this is not where I'm supposed to be, and then the rest of the cars are coming around, so I came back on dead last, and then got my way back up to, I think it was 7th overall, but unfortunately Paul Savage got spun out on the start finish, so I finished 3rd in class, just 1 point behind Graham, because unfortunately he got a penalty, which is a bit unfortunate. So championship wise, lost a point or so on Graham, but just need to beat him in the next race, really, which I hopefully will do if it stays dry or if it's wet, don't care.
And it's been an eventful day. Race 1 out of the way, tricky for everybody. Tell us your story.
Well, my story was just the first lap. It was a good start. We got a good start off the line. Coming into the shell hairpin, just lost the brakes and ended up collecting another car, and that was the end of the race. So fairly short and sweet.
On a more positive note, I mean, the rounds up to now this year, you've had good results, some 2nds, some 4ths and so forth. 2018 season, you came 10th in the championship. You've got some good points so far this year. So what's the aim realistically?
Yeah, well, we're just here for a good time. It's a good competitive championship, and we just we just don't put enough into it, I don't think, to get the consistency. So we don't get to do the testing as much. But yeah, I mean, we just come and just have a good time.
Sam, getting ready for race 2. Race 1 was a mixed battle for you.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mess, but I ended up getting 3rd, which was all right after a fairly mixed up race.
Quick learning curve for you when stuff like that happens, isn't it?
Yeah, I haven't really had that much practice in the wet, but you have to sort of learn on the job.
Like a different season now, though. It's all dried out, so hopefully it should be all right.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be a bit of a better race, and hopefully I can finish a bit further up.
So Joe, a good result in race 1, 9th overall, and good in class as well there. So how do you feel?
Yeah, it was quite a difficult one because it was all wet and not too comfortable in the wet. And coming up into 160s this year from 160 has been quite a big challenge. So there's been quite a big confidence boost as well. And especially coming back from Knock Hill a couple of weeks back, got a couple of good results there as well. So it's going in the right direction. Just need to keep pushing forwards and, well, maybe next season be more up near the front and hope for the best.
Welcome back to the Stoneacre Hyde MG Trophy Championship race meeting here at Oulton Park. A problematic race one for several of the drivers. Many of them taking a break to refuel. A lot of them having to refettle their cars. We had 5 retirees in that first race, and I'm pleased to say that they are all going to make it out for race 2 as the annual photo call takes place here. Pole position for race 2, once again going to Graham Ross. He's going to be careful about his starting position. Patrick Booth is down behind him. All of the cars, as I said, coming back out for the race. The pole position for the 170s is Sam Kirkpatrick, with Fred Burgess alongside Adam Jackson and Paul Luty next up from the Class C 160 standard power cars. Josh Bacon ahead of Martin Webber. So all coming into line. As you can see, the conditions so much better now. And great work in the paddock getting everybody back out on circuit. So a second bite of the cherry for some in this, the 8th race of the 2019 season. Lights are on, keeping them waiting here before lights out, which does happen. Great start by Graham Ross, gets away well from Patrick Booth. Now hold on to your hats, there's a good start there. Around the outside of Fred Burgess goes Paul Luty, down into Old Hall Corner, 2 or 3 wide, as indeed they were in race number 1. The 170s by and large okay, but going into the tyre barrier is Sam Kirkpatrick. Also off there as well, Samuel Johnston. Those 2 early casualties. In car with Fred Burgess. Good start from Fred. We're looking back at Robin Walker, the race 1 winner, in his rearview mirrors. Kirkpatrick gets going. James Cole's had a problem as well there in the 88 car. And the race leader is Patrick Booth. Booth leading from Graham Ross. Is this going to be a disappointing meeting for Graham as it was last year? And that's Doug Cole spinning at virtually the same point on the track in the dry as he did in the wet. The 99 car is still going, and I think he's going to rejoin safely behind a bunch of 170s. It's an all-action start at the moment. Through goes Robin Walker, then Paul Savage. Adam Jackson is next up, followed by Matt Turnbull. The race leaders coming down from Hilltop now. Graham Ross putting a bit of pressure under Patrick Booth. There they come. You can see some interclass racing going on. Robin Walker is now having to chase Fred Burgess. Paul Luty having come through into lead position in the 170 class. Here's Paul Savage going uphill. You can see the leaders starting to break away. Paul Luty not that far away from them. Fred Burgess nearest challenger at the moment to Paul Luty, who is 5th in the championship, 3rd in Class B coming into the meeting. Samuel Johnston's beaten up car. He's still going. I wonder if that's going to come into retirement. It looks to be moving at a fair old pace, so hopefully will be okay. Matt Turnbull still in the mix there, chasing Adam Jackson in the blue and yellow 79. Surely we're going to see Sam Kirkpatrick come into the pits, the teenager from Cumbria. Patrick Booth, this is the race leader coming under pressure out of the rear-facing camera. There's Graham Ross through. Graham Ross takes the lead. We were half expecting that as Paul Savage pays a visit to the grass. Savage rejoins, thinks about it again, doing what Doug Cole did earlier on, looking for a safe moment to rejoin the track. So important. Kirkpatrick into pit lane, probably to take the bumper off. I'm wondering whether he'll rejoin. I sincerely hope we don't get as many retirements in this one as we did race 1. Been a frenetic meeting for everybody in the paddock repair-wise. So Patrick Booth, having worked hard to get into the lead on the opening lap, gets passed by Graham Ross, the championship leader. Ross proving his credentials as reigning champion, not only having been passed but really fighting back to get it. It's sometimes a lot of people say all too easy to qualify on pole and then do a lights to flag victory, but we've seen him have to work for this to get back in front of the man who passed him on the first lap. So the orange sunstrips, remember, the 190s. The first of the yellows, really punching above weight there, is Paul Luty. Fred Burgess next in the 17, followed by Robin Walker on potentially for another podium here in the A-class 190s and having a good run. The 170s looking pretty settled at the moment. Burgess goes up Clay Hill. Really good. The interclass racing here works out well for him because he'll learn how to defend from that 190 car. He'll want to keep that behind him so that he can have Paul Luthi in the 69 machine in his sights, and if possible try and hunt him down. The only thing that might work is perhaps getting a little bit of a tow if that 190 class car goes in front of him. Down behind them we've got Matt Turnbull in the 64, running third in class at the moment, as is the 77 of Robin Walker. Great win for Robin, popular win in the paddock too. In car with Fred looking back, thought the 77 car was going to pay a visit there. Looks at the outside line here, now is maybe going to switch to the inside at Old Hall. Nothing quite doing there. Doug Cole recovering very quickly there. The black and blue 99 had that moment at Shell Oils a few laps ago and is already up batting for a podium in the 190s, very much on a recovery mission. As I always say, every driver's going to make a mistake. It's how you react to them and deal with it. Great news, Sam Kirkpatrick back out on track in the number 3 car. They've got that track worthy, got thumbs up from the officials, and he's back out on circuit, and that's going to be important for Sam to try and get some championship points. He may well end up with this one being as a drop score, but he'll get out and score what he can, just in case other things happen at our final round of the season, which is Snetterton Circuit in October, as Doug Cole continues to make progress. Cole now passes race 1 winner Robin Walker, and therefore goes up into 3rd position. So good stuff from Doug Cole, now about to try and challenge Fred Burgess. So the faster 190 brake car chasing the 170, looks to the inside line. Again, great shot from Fred, looking back, waiting for Doug to appear in the bottom bit of the screen. He should do on the inside line. Fred knows that that car is faster, and through goes Doug, lights ablaze, chasing hard, and still after the 1 and 33 cars who are up front. Graham Ross, the man from Crieff, still leading, the 52-year-old, with a plethora of wins this year in what looks like at the moment a successful defence of the championship that he won last season. Through Deer Leap, still some great racing going on. Remember last year here, Jason Burgess took 2 wins. Ryan Firth and Sam Kirkpatrick, the winning drivers in Class C. In Class B, I beg your pardon, I was jumping ahead there to Class C. Tyler Ballard it was that won the Class C standard class races last year, now moving up into the modified class, which is something that you can do in MG Trophy racing. In terms of the overall race winners, as we go on board with Paul Luthi, he has had overall race wins in the past here at Oulton Park. Looks like adding another class win to his cannon here. Graham Ross, the other driver who's taken overall wins at Oulton Park. I don't think Doug Cole has from memory. Colin Robertson's won a few, but he's not with us this weekend in the new MG3 as Fred Burgess comes under pressure. Burgess holding on the inside line. Meanwhile, Paul Luthi coming under pressure from Doug Cole. Cole nips through on the inside line, and he'll get a shot perhaps now at closing down on the leading pair. Onto the curbs goes the 17 car, still under pressure from Matt Turnbull. Burgess and Turnbull having a pretty good race of it. Cole breaking free now in that 3rd position. So the 190's back up at the head of the field, and this is the scrap for 2nd place in the 170 class. Matt Turnbull was 1 point behind Sam Kirkpatrick, and that's why Kirkpatrick had to get back out on track to try and score so very valuable championship points. Turnbull, of course, was a non-finisher in the first race. Sam Kirkpatrick getting 3rd, so extending the lead out of his championship. In car with Fred Burgess again, looking back to Turnbull, who is challenging hard for that 2nd place. Takes a wide line here. Is he going to go for the cutback? No, sticks to the outside, sticks to his guns. Great driving by the 64 car down through Deer Leap. Just about room there, but Burgess knows what he's doing. Placed the car well. We've got a black and white driving standards flag going out. That's going to be for track limits, I suspect. I'm not sure who that's going out to at the moment. We'll try and find out for you. In car again with Paul Luthi, the 69 car, looking back at Robin Walker. Robin trying to close in on and pass Paul. Remember, 190 brake car chasing 170. This is Lakeside, so they go along Lakeside and then really does tighten up that corner, and then round into the banked Shell Oils corner. Luthi coming in now, turns in. very neatly for the class leader, Paul Luthi. Hasn't had a class win so far this year, if I remember correctly. Just looking back, he's had 3 or 4 podia, but looking for that first class win of the season, and not looking too bad for it at the moment. Battle for third continues in class. Here comes Paul Luthi. Doug Cole is away, and in the distance we've got Matt Turnbull now up to second place. Paul Luthi passed by the 77 car. Nice little move there by Robin Walker. This is the great thing about the 190s racing in with the 170s as well. Plenty of interclass battles with the drivers with the more modest pace, shall we say, in the more powerful classes against the faster drivers in the less powerful 170s. And Paul Luthi driving well here. The dangerous thing for Luthi now is that the cars behind him, the chasers in his class, have got a clear run at him, so he would like to get back in front of Robin Walker if he possibly can, and just get that little bit more breathing space over Matt Turnbull, who's running in second position at the moment. Fred Burgess third, Adam Jackson running fourth in the 170 class as we get towards the halfway stage of this second race of the weekend. Round 8 of a 10-round championship this year, having lost MG Live sadly earlier on in the season. There is our leader in the A class, 136, Josh Bacon, just up ahead of Samuel Johnston. I think it was Samuel that was getting the black and white flag for track limits, and you think they'd forgive him that, really, with the battered car that's providing some super entertainment. He is there. Sam Kirkpatrick giving chase as well and trying to score some points. In car with Paul Luthi once again. Now, that view shows us that Matt Turnbull has closed him down. So Turnbull, if he can now possibly get the win in class, has caught Paul Luthi. Passing will be another thing altogether. But Luthi running well, and we very definitely have a battle on for the lead of the 170s. Paul coming down from Hilltop in towards the chicane. The battle for the 170s very much alive. Paul Savage in the 23 car, spun on the line at the end of race number 1. Too early to say what's going to happen in this one. He's got the B-class winner from race 1 right behind him, Tom Butler. Tom running just off podium pace in this one, but will be happy to have had his win. There goes that black and white flag out again. They do show it to the whole field here. I suppose, if nothing else, it provides a warning to the rest of the field that they're watching, as if they didn't know. In car with Paul Luthi again. Matt Turnbull very quick indeed in second position and harrying him all the way at the moment. Fred Burgess is in third place. Fred trying to put the pressure on Matt Turnbull, and of course Paul Luthi now, if you get into class battling, it makes the job even harder. And he's got race 1 winner Robin Walker in front of him. Look how close Turnbull gets in that rear facing camera. He's glued to the boot lid of Paul Luthi's car. Sensational racing from the MG Trophy Championship once again, and Paul would probably wish that Robin Walker's car wasn't there. If he can get past, he'll be happy if it's behind him. A little wave of acknowledgement from Luthi as Doug Cole really going for it in the 99 car after that second moment in 2 races at Shell Oil's corner. Graham Ross still the leader, Patrick Booth second. Doug Cole's he's on a mission, Doug Cole, really trying to close down. So too is Matt Turnbull, 24-year-old from Wigan, chasing down Paul Luthi. Great battle going on then for the 170 class honours. How's this one going to end up? Turnbull has a look down the inside, not quite close enough to do anything there as they come through Druids Corner, heading up under the Paul Warwick Bridge in towards Lodge Corner, and then of course it's Deer Leap. Lots of different lines can be explored here to gain momentum for different parts of the circuit, and Turnbull at the moment just can't seem to find a place. He's obviously got a wee bit more speed than the Scot out front, but not quite enough to go through. The key thing for Matt Turnbull is that he's also got Fred Burgess in third place right behind him, and then Adam Jackson. Tom Butler we saw earlier on is 5th. The next battle up ahead of Tyler Ballard, and then John Booth. That's the way they are in the 170 class at the minute. In car with Fred Burgess again. Fred with a little bit of a gap at the moment over Adam Jackson. Paul Luthi still running well. Here is Patrick Booth. This is the battle for second position overall. Doug Cole tees up the inside line. If you look at the top inset, rear-facing camera, and there is Cole through. Doug Cole through as they go into Britain's. Nice move out of his nemesis corner, Shell Oils, and down into Britain's, up to Hilltop. He has got second position. Now, will he be able to close in on Graham Ross? Doug Cole setting some very good lap times, and Graham Ross having a much, much better time this weekend than he did last year, and I think should extend the outright championship lead, as well as that in Class A. Doug Cole's second in Class A at the moment. He's 10 points behind Graham Ross, so that's why he's determined to try and close up. In car with Patrick Booth again. So Doug Cole getting away from it. That's an incredible drive by Doug Cole. You think how much ground he lost with that spin, or half spin, at Shell Oil's corner, and he's closing in, lights ablaze. There's the race leader going through, Graham Ross, the man from Crieff, looking to add another win to his collection this year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins he will have had if he secures this one. Superb battle going on. Definitely a three-way scrap for the lead now in the 170s. Fred Burgess, the chaser at the moment. Sun getting low in the sky makes it difficult to pick that. It's a four-way battle for the lead now, isn't it? Because the Leeds man, Adam Jackson, is in there as well. The 35-year-old. Here they come across the line, passing Martin Webber, who's on his way for another good finish in the standard class car. The 60-year-old who got special dispensation to race with the problems he had getting here. That was a good, sensible decision from the officials. Fred Burgess still chasing, a little bit of a moment there for him, but still in touch with the leaders, and Matt Turnbull getting tight there on the curbs at the bottom of the hill. Now they make their way along Lakeside with Paul Luthi still under pressure. Adam Jackson's lost a little bit of ground in the 79 car, back in fourth position in class. This is the battle, remember, for fourth, fifth and sixth overall, but significantly the battle for the lead in the 170 class. Paul Luthi has a look in his mirror, sees Turnbull coming up, gets very close again. Great onboard shots there show the angle of the banking on that corner. Matt Turnbull knows that he can't afford to do a lunge, which might go wrong, so he's got to really pick his moment to try and go past, as any good driver would do. He would rather finish second than have a DNF. Robin Walker is there in fourth, so it's the battle for fifth, not fourth. I correct myself there, but still the lead. Four-way battle in the 170s, and Paul Luthi driving a great defensive race here. Super start for him. Managed to get away from the outside of the second row, and that was absolutely key in the strategy for where he is at the moment. Again, looking back from Fred Burgess. Across the line and onto the last lap goes Graham Ross. I don't think Doug Cole has got enough in the tank to close down on him, so it's the defending champion in the number one car showing the way around at the moment. Now bear in mind that first and second in this race, a 52-year-old and a 56-year-old, so if you're thinking about, I'm not going to call it a midlife crisis, but if you're of advancing years or in middle age, you could come and race this and be quick like these guys are. You don't have to be, racing's not all about the youngsters. We've got a great age range in this championship. In car with Fred Burgess again, back with the lead to the 170s. Paul Luthi still there, Matt Turnbull harrying him for second, runs a little bit wide. Adam Jackson trying to close up in fourth place. Fred Burgess wants P2. He's all over the back of Turnbull. That might compromise Turnbull's attack on the 69 car. Look at the back end getting a little bit squirrely there on Turnbull's car. Doesn't lose that much momentum. Luthi pulls out just a little bit there. In car again, facing forward with the race leader. A quick look back to see where Fred Burgess is still in the mix in that second position. Here is the lead group coming through Shell Oils for the last time. And that is a problem for the 33 car, Patrick Booth, slowing up. Patrick Booth from third place. Looks like he's going to have a late retirement from this race. Paul Luthi goes through. Matt Turnbull still in second. I'm wondering if we're going to see a change. Here is the overall race leader, though. Graham Ross on his way to add to fifth position he had in race one with the time penalty. He really didn't let that get him down at all. Doug Cole has closed in. Graham Ross, though, lighting up the timing screen with purple sectors, could be on for the fastest lap of the race here, Graham Ross. and he's probably got the notion that Doug Cole is chasing him. Up to the checkered flag, it's a win for Graham Ross. Ross wins. Doug Cole in second. Third place is going to go to Robin Walker. Another podium. Here comes the 170 battle. Paul Luthi still being chased hard as they come out of Druids up into Lodge Corner. For the last time, Turnbull has a look to the outside line. Luthi getting fairly defensive on the inside line. It's his right to do that through Dear Lead. It's going to be a run to the flag. In car with the third place machine of Fred Burgess. Paul Luthi's going to take the win. Luthi wins. Turnbull second, Burgess third, Adam Jackson fourth in class ahead of Paul Savage, who'll be the next car in the mix. Then the 136 car, 16th place overall, and a Class C standard engine win once again for Joshua Bacon. Here comes Josh up to the flag, another win for him in Class C. Splendid race to round the weekend off here, and the delight is evident for championship leader Graham Ross. Doug Cole will be pleased with his race up into second. Robin Walker next from Class B winner Paul Luthi. Matt Turnbull second in B from Fred Burgess and Adam Jackson. Paul Savage next from Tom Butler and Tyler Ballard. Good to see Paul getting that car home. Then John Booth in 11th from Joseph Dalgano. James Cole, Patrick Booth, Samuel Johnston, Joshua Bacon, as we said, winning Class C. Sam Kirkpatrick came home next, and then Martin Webber. Let's go down into victory lane. Barry with the winners.
Graham, a well-deserved win. Very busy day for you, and you got 2 first positions over line there, but a nice little victory on that second one.
Thanks for reminding me of that, Barry. Yes, this was the only one that actually is official. The other one was, it was rules is rules, and I broke the rules, so I have to take my medicine. But that I was out to kind of prove that I could do it. So I enjoyed that, and then saw Doug coming up. I thought, oh God, I need to sort of watch myself here, but I kept looking at the time on the big screen thinking, hopefully got enough laps, so yeah, managed to pull it off, good.
Doug, an entertaining day, now you're known for his strong finishes, and you certainly had one there.
Yeah, made it hard again, lost it at Shell Oils on the brakes, don't know what's going on there, but I need to sort that out, but even lap 4 or 5 it was struggling around there, but yeah, I've just got my head down and I thought I just got to try and catch up with him. I knew I wouldn't get past him, I thought I could catch Patrick, which I did, but it was hard work. It was bin it or get round every single corner, and it was, if I don't get the fastest lap, I'm going to give up now, because that was the fastest I can do it. This car would not go any quicker.
Robert, a great weekend for you, racing and 2 podiums, so you can't ask for much more.
No, very happy with that. Best weekend since I started in the championship. I've never had 2 podiums, well I haven't had a win yet, so fantastic weekend. Car was great, everything worked beautifully.
Well, that's more like it, the 69 machine back on form.
Aye, well, to be totally honest, there was a lot of luck involved. I got a good start and stuff happened behind me and I got a gap. I certainly wasn't the fastest in the class because they closed that gap right up, and it was quite a considerable gap. They closed it up, and then I was just hassled by Matt for the last few laps, and I was thinking this is the lap who's going to get me, this is the lap, but I just got lucky.
Matt, great race there, and you kept the pressure on Paul.
Yeah, he's a wise guy. He knows exactly where to put his car. So it was. I tried, had a go. But no, couldn't make it stick anyway. But yeah, we had a good race. Fred also drove really well as well. We had a pretty good race with Fred. So should be good for the last round anyway.
Graham Ross leads the championship from Doug Cole. Class B headed by Sam Kirkpatrick and Paul Luthi jointly on 112 points. Join us for the championship finale next time out at Snetterton. Bye for now.